right, so welcome to our deep dive, and today we're going to be talking about different gameplay modes in D&D.
Okay.
And this is all based on this excerpt that you sent over.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking laugh modes. That sounds a little technical, right?
Yeah.
But stick with us because it's actually surprisingly insightful. Even if you're not a big D&D fan,
Right.
we're going to uncover how these modes work, and maybe even reveal how they play out in our everyday lives.
Yeah, that's the fun part. What's fascinating about these modes is that they're not just about rolling dice and slaying dragons. They're really about how we approach problems and make decisions. It's a framework for thinking about how we interact with the world, both in game and out of it.
So let's get started with the first mode, which is setup.
Okay.
And this is where the dungeon master sets the stage for the adventure. So instead of just saying, like, go fight some goblins, they might describe a village under attack, or a mysterious artifact, or a cryptic message.
It's all about piquing the player's curiosity and drawing them into the story.
Right.
Think of it like the opening scene of a movie.
Right.
You're introduced to the characters, you get a feel for the setting, you get a hint of the conflict to come.
Okay.
The DM is essentially setting the mood and prompting questions in the players' minds.
Speaking of questions, that leads us perfectly to the next mode, which is exploration. And now this isn't just about wandering around a dungeon. It's about uncovering information, investigating clues, and making choices about how to interact with the environment.
The beauty of exploration mode is that the DM doesn't dictate what the players do.
Okay.
They might describe a room with a locked chest, a dusty bookshelf, and a cobweb-covered doorway.
Right.
And then they ask, "What do you do?"
The players are free to investigate whatever catches their interest.
What I find interesting about exploration is that it's not just about physical spaces. It can be about exploring an idea, a relationship, or even someone's motivations.
Right.
It's about delving deeper into the unknown and discovering what lies beneath the surface.
Absolutely. And this is where the player's creativity and curiosity really come into play.
Okay.
Will they try to pick the lock, search for a hidden key, or simply barge through the door?
Okay.
The DM provides the framework, but the players choose their path.
And this freedom of choice can lead to some unexpected outcome.
Exactly. In exploration mode, you never know what you're going to find,
right,
or where your choices will lead you.
Okay.
It's like choosing a path in a forest.
Yeah.
Each one holds the potential for discovery and surprise.
This reminds me of something you mentioned earlier about how these modes apply to real life.
Could you give us an example of how exploration mode might play out in an everyday situation?
Think about negotiating a car purchase.
Okay.
You're in exploration mode, gathering information about the car's history, researching its value, and testing its features.
Yeah.
You're actively engaging with the situation
Right.
to make informed decisions.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've explored the physical and metaphorical world.
Right.
But what happens when we need to interact with other characters in the game?
Right.
That's where conversation mode comes in.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Conversation mode is all about gathering information, building relationships,
Okay.
and navigating social situations.
So it's not just about chatting with a local bartender.
Not always.
Okay.
It could involve negotiating a treaty, interrogating a suspect, or trying to persuade a king to support your quest.
Okay.
The key is that you're engaging in a meaningful exchange
Of information and ideas.
I imagine this mode requires a different set of skills than, say, fighting a dragon.
Absolutely.
Right.
Instead of relying on brute strength or magical abilities, you need to use your wit, your charm, and your understanding of human nature.
Do you think anyone can be successful in conversation mode, or does it require a certain personality type?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
While some people might be naturally more adept at social interactions, I believe anyone can improve their conversation skills with practice.
So it's not just about being extroverted or charismatic.
Yeah.
It's about understanding how to communicate effectively and build rapport.
Exactly. And And remember,
Yeah.
conversation mode isn't always about getting what you want.
Right.
Sometimes it's about uncovering hidden truths,
Okay.
building alliances,
Yep.
or simply understanding someone else's perspective. And sometimes those conversations can lead to conflict,
Yeah.
which brings us to the next mode, encounter.
Right.
And this is where things get a little more intense.
Right. You could say that encounter mode is where the stakes are high.
Right.
And there's real possibility of failure.
So we're talking about battles and fights.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
While combat is a classic example of an encounter, it can also involve social challenges, puzzles, traps, and chases.
Okay.
The key is that there's a clear objective,
Okay.
a set of rules,
Right.
and a potential for both success and failure.
It sounds like encounter mode is where the drama really unfolds.
It certainly can be.
Okay.
Think of those classic movie scenes where the hero faces seemingly insurmountable odds. Encounter mode is all about pushing the characters to their limits
Okay.
and testing their abilities.
So it's not just about rolling dice and hoping for the best.
Exactly. It's about strategy, teamwork, and quick thinking.
This reminds me of something I read about how encounter mode can be a powerful tool for personal growth.
It's true.
Go.
Encounter mode forces you to confront your fears, overcome obstacles, and learn from your mistakes.
And sometimes those encounters can be more mental than physical.
Absolutely. Think about giving a presentation at work,
Yeah.
or having a difficult conversation with a loved one.
Oh,
Those are real life encounters that require courage, preparation, and a willingness to face the unknown.
Okay, so we've explored, we've conversed, and faced challenges. Now it's time to take a breather, right?
That's where passing time mode comes in.
You get passing time mode is all about those moments in between the action.
Those the seemingly uneventful stretches of time where the players can catch their breath, make plans, and reflect on what's happened.
It sounds like it's the calm before the storm, the time to regroup and prepare for the next big adventure.
It can be, but it's also a time for character development, relationship building, and world building.
So it's not just about skipping over the boring parts.
Not at all.
Well,
passing time mode can be a valuable opportunity to explore the nuances of the game world.
Okay.
The characters' backstories and the relationships between them.
Do you think there's a risk of this mode becoming too passive?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's where the DM's skill comes into play. A skilled DM will know how to make even these quiet moments engaging and meaningful.
Okay.
They might introduce a subplot. Okay.
Drop hints about future events.
Yeah.
Or simply allow the players to role play their characters' interactions in more depth.
So it's all about striking a balance between action and introspection.
Precisely, and that balance is what makes D&D such a rich and rewarding experience.
Okay.
It's a game that can be both thrilling and contemplative.
Right.
Action-packed. And thought-provoking.
So we've covered the first four modes.
Okay.
Setup, exploration, conversation, and encounter.
Right.
Now it's time to delve deeper into the fifth and final mode, passing time.
Yeah.
But before we do, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And recap what we've learned so far.
All right.
Then we'll come back and explore how this often overlooked mode can be just as engaging and insightful as its more action-packed counterparts. Okay. Welcome back. So before we dive into passing time mode, let's revisit that hypothetical scenario from our source material about those bandits raiding caravans.
Yep.
It's a perfect example of how these modes can flow seamlessly together.
That's right. You mentioned how that initial setup could easily transition into conversation mode.
Exactly. Imagine the players getting that quest and immediately grilling the quest giver.
Okay.
They might demand more details about these bandits, trying to figure out like their motives, or if there's something more going on behind the scenes.
Right.
That's conversation mode in action.
Yeah.
Using dialogue to uncover information and shape the narrative.
And what if during this conversation the players suspect the quest giver isn't being entirely truthful?
That's where things could get really interesting. The players might decide to use their skills to get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Perhaps they try to use insight to detect a lie, or persuasion to coax out more information. It becomes a test of their social abilities.
Yeah.
With potential consequences for how the story unfolds.
So even something as seemingly straightforward as accepting a quest can become a multifaceted experience, weaving in those different modes.
Right.
What about exploration?
Yeah.
Our source materials also described a dungeon room with lots of potential points of interest.
Right. The DM might describe a room with a locked chest, a dusty bookshelf, and a cobweb-covered doorway.
Okay.
Notice they're not telling the players what to do, just presenting them with options.
Right.
This is where exploration shines in that freedom to choose your own path.
Because the DM isn't dictating their actions, the players have the power to really influence the direction of the story.
Exactly. One player might be meticulously checking the door for traps,
right,
while another is trying to decipher a cryptic inscription on the wall.
And all of this is happening organically with the DM weaving it all together into a cohesive narrative.
It's almost like organized chaos.
Yeah.
With everyone contributing and the story unfolding in a way that even the DM might not fully anticipate.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That element of unpredictability is what keeps the game fresh and exciting.
Speaking of unpredictability, our source material offered a chilling example of how exploration can suddenly morph into encounter mode.
Oh, yeah?
Remember that tentacle in the well?
Oh, absolutely. That's a classic D&D moment.
Right.
A stark reminder that even the most mundane actions can have unforeseen consequences.
Yeah.
You're exploring, feeling relatively safe, and bam, a giant tentacle tries to drag you into the depths.
Right.
Talk about a shift in mood.
It highlights how encounters aren't always planned or predictable.
They can erupt from the most unexpected places, adding a layer of tension and excitement to the game.
Right. And it reinforces that encounters aren't always about combat.
Okay.
In that tentacle situation, the immediate challenge isn't to defeat the creature.
Right.
It's to escape its grasp. Okay. It's a test of quick thinking, resourcefulness, and perhaps a bit of luck.
And this brings us back to those real life parallels.
Yeah.
It's like when you think you're having a casual conversation, and suddenly it escalates into a heated debate.
Right.
You're forced to think on your feet and use your communication skills to navigate the situation.
A perfect example. Right. It shows how these modes, while rooted in a fantasy setting, have resonance in our everyday experiences.
Right.
We're constantly exploring new ideas, engaging in conversations that take unexpected turns, and facing challenges that test our mettle.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how this D&D framework is more than just a game. It's a reflection of how we navigate the world around us.
Yeah.
But let's get back to conversation mode for a moment.
Okay.
Our source material talked about how it's not just about what you say, but how you say it.
Absolutely. Remember, the players are interacting with NPCs who have their own personalities, motivations, and secrets. A skilled player will consider their audience, tailoring their approach to elicit the desired response. It's like being a diplomat.
Okay.
Using tact and strategy to achieve your goals.
So it's about more than just asking questions.
Right.
It's about reading the room, understanding the social dynamics, and adapting your communication style accordingly.
Precisely. Yeah. A well-placed compliment. It's a subtle threat or a shared joke can be just as effective as any magical spell.
Okay.
It's about using your social intelligence to navigate complex situations.
And sometimes, despite your best efforts, a a conversation can go south, leading to an unexpected encounter.
Right.
Our source material mentioned an example of players interrogating a bandit.
Yes. That scenario beautifully illustrates how these modes can intertwine.
Okay.
Imagine the players through careful conversation, learning the location of a hidden bandit camp.
Right.
They might decide to launch a surprise attack,
Right.
which would plunge them directly into encounter mode.
So even a seemingly peaceful conversation can be the catalyst for a thrilling action sequence.
Right.
It all depends on the choices the players make and how the DM responds to those choices.
Exactly, and that interplay between player agency and DM guidance is what makes D&D such a dynamic and unpredictable experience.
Well, we've explored the dungeon, conversed with NPCs, and even faced a few unexpected encounters.
Right.
Now it's time to delve into that often overlooked mode, passive time.
All right, let's shift gears.
Okay.
And explore the nuances of passing time mode and how it contributes to the overall D&D experience.
I'm intrigued. This is the mode that often gets glossed over.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling there's more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah, it's funny. We often think of exploration as this grand outward journey,
Right.
but sometimes the most profound discoveries happen within.
That's a good point. Exploration isn't just about physical spaces, right?
Hey.
It's about delving into the unknown, whether it's a new field of study or a challenging emotional landscape, or even the depths of our own creativity.
Precisely. Every time we learn something new, challenge a belief, or step outside our comfort zone, we're engaging in exploration mode.
This makes me think of that example from our source material, the one with the lever in the collapsing room.
Right.
It seems like a pretty literal example of exploration gone wrong.
Yeah, it's a great illustration of how exploration can lead to unexpected encounters,
Right.
and how those encounters aren't always about fighting monsters.
Right.
Sometimes the challenge is to solve a problem, escape a dangerous situation, or simply think our way out of a tricky predicament.
It reminds me of that saying, "Curiosity killed the cat."
Yeah.
But in D&D and perhaps in life, it's often that same curiosity that leads to the most rewarding discoveries.
Absolutely. Without a willingness to explore, to take risks and embrace the unknown, we'd never experience the thrill of discovery or the satisfaction of overcoming challenges.
And sometimes those challenges require more than just brute force or quick reflexes.
Right.
We need to tap into our social skills, our ability to communicate and persuade.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to conversation mode.
Right. Our source material emphasized how conversation mode isn't just about asking questions. It's about understanding the nuances of social interaction.
Right.
It's about reading people, tailoring your approach,
right,
and using your words strategically.
So it's like being a detective.
Yeah.
But instead of searching for clues, you're searching for insights into someone's thoughts and motivations.
That's a great analogy,
right?
And just like a detective, you might need to employ different tactics depending on the situation. Okay. Sometimes a gentle approach is needed,
right?
While other times a more assertive stance is required.
It makes me realize that we're constantly engaging in conversation mode.
Yeah.
Whether we're negotiating a raise,
right,
or resolving a conflict with a loved one, or simply trying to make a new friend.
Exactly. Conversation mode is woven into the fabric of our daily lives, shaping our relationships, influencing our decisions, and ultimately shaping who we are as individuals.
We've talked a lot about these modes as separate entities,
right?
But it seems like they're often intertwined, flowing seamlessly into one another.
You're absolutely right. the lines between these modes can be quite fluid.
Okay.
A conversation can lead to an encounter,
Right.
and an exploration can spark a conversation.
Yeah.
And even a moment of passing time can be an opportunity for reflection and growth. It's all part of the dynamic interplay that makes D&D and life itself so captivating.
So it's not just about mastering each mode in isolation.
Right.
It's about understanding how they work together to create a more holistic experience.
Precisely, and that's where the real magic happens, both in the game world and in our own lives.
Right.
It's in those moments of unexpected connection.
Yeah.
Those serendipitous encounters and those seemingly mundane moments that turn out to be more profound than we could have imagined.
I think you've just summed up the essence of this entire deep dive.
Yeah.
It's not just about understanding the mechanics of D&D. It's about embracing the unexpected, the interconnectedness of our experiences, and the potential for growth and discovery that exists in every moment.
Well said. And I hope our listeners will take these insights with them as they navigate their own adventures, both in the game world and beyond.
Me too. Yeah. It's been an enlightening journey, and I'm grateful for your expertise and insights.
The pleasure was all mine, and remember, the adventure never truly ends.
Right.
As long as you keep exploring, conversing.
Yeah.
And embracing the challenges that come your way.
So keep rolling those dice, both literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
And may your adventures be filled with wonder, excitement, and perhaps a few unexpected encounters along the way.
And until next time, may your explorations be fruitful. Your conversations be meaningful.
Yeah.
And your encounters be triumphant.